All right, my New England weather weenies. The icing concern today is a real big one. So we're going to cover that first and foremost. It's Tuesday, December 10th. And then what we're going to get to is the volume of rain that we're going to see and the winds and how those are going to really pick up. But this ice is kind of the top story. This ice threat is going to linger through most of the day today, and the biggest problem is the forecast models usually show the ice threat disappearing a lot quicker than it typically does, and that's due to cold air damming, which means it's just cold air that gets trapped at the lower elevations, and you get much warmer air above. Let me show you. This is called a SQT, and this is what a weather balloon gives us when we release those. They get released twice a day through a whole bunch of locations. And these lines of temperature go this way, so you always see temperature decrease typically as you go up in elevation. Our soundings look like this right now, meaning we are below freezing. Oh, look at that, it got big. We are below freezing down here, and the air is getting much warmer, and the zero line is in Celsius, so above freezing, a big section of it, and then cold again. So what's happening is we're getting snowflakes that come down, they melt into water drops, and then they're falling through this shallow atmosphere as liquid water. They don't have enough time to freeze through here. They land on these cold sub-freezing surfaces. You get this clear glaze ice of freezing rain. Those are the technical details. Let's talk about how much is forecast, and then I'm going to show you the timing, because this is an all-day thing, and it's going to be sneaky tonight. Yellow is going to be a disruption to your day. Anywhere we see oranges or reds are definitely going to have a bad impact on your day. The risks in Vermont have dropped but are not gone, and I would still beware in these northernmost locations. The forecast discussion is right here, and it's talking about how we just have this threat for freezing drizzle. There's actually a small typo here. It says, I feel comfortable that much of the area is going to fail to reach freezing today. They left out an above. Much of the area will fail to reach above freezing today. The question is, how much precip do we see? Will most likely be across the interior, where cold air damming will be the most stout. Let me show you what I mean with the current temperatures. The little red numbers are the temperature, and so you can see throughout Maine, throughout New Hampshire, through northern portions of Massachusetts, and everywhere except the western half of Vermont, everybody is still below freezing, and it is drizzling and precipitating out there. And if you go to a site like Weather Underground, you can actually go ahead and zoom in and take a look at temperatures and see what they're like, and it's just below freezing everywhere. I'm going to show you the graph forecast ice accumulation map. I really, really like this. So here we go through this morning, seeing it start to fill in. This is like 7 p.m. Notice how it's filling in through Vermont, through northern New Hampshire, through Maine, but then also watch down here, the southern locations, because of how long this cold air is going to stay here. This is 10:30 p.m. We are seeing a lot of icing filling in, and it's not happening as much during the day today. It will be a little bit today, but it's actually going to be late tonight and during tomorrow's early morning hours. And it's just because that cold air at the surface won't quit. Next, let's talk water and wind, because we do have a tremendous amount of rain that's going to be moving in on Wednesday, and we already have some snowpack as well. And so this warm 50, almost 60-degree weather, plus all of that rain, is going to be pulling even more moisture out of there, and the flood concerns are going to be high in some areas. This is that quantitative precipitation forecast for today and tomorrow. So it's for the next 48 hours. Those reds correlate to possibly over 3 inches of rain. Now, without a doubt, most of that is coming on Wednesday, which is good news and also bad news. It's just going to be a really wet, soggy day. And with the frozen ground and the snow that's in place, drainage is not going to work like it typically does. So you're going to see flooding in some unusual places. But the good news is there is something called flood forecasts. And everywhere you see a square is a forecast, and everywhere you see a circle is a current observation. We're going to click on this little red square. That is Otter Creek at Center Rutland, and they are forecasting that creek to reach 11.6 feet, which is just shy of major flood stage. The record is 17.2, so it doesn't look like it'll give that a run for its money, but just be aware about the flooding concern. Anywhere you see a square is where there's forecast to be flood. I'm really only concerned with the red and orange ones at this time. So we're concerned with the Swift River in Roxbury. We're concerned with the Pemmy up in Woodstock. Mad River, for sure. We talked about Otter Creek. Let's see, a bunch of these here. All of these locations, we have concerns. Orange is minor flood, and I know a lot of you in Vermont are definitely sensitive to flood concerns, so don't freak out or panic, but do understand that the drainage is going to be a little bit different, and things may act and behave a little bit differently than what you typically see. Last thing we're going to talk about is the wind, and I want you to see these white lines called isobars. The tighter they get and closer they get together, the stronger the winds. So as we just play through here very quickly, lots of pinks and all the ice and the freezing rain that we're going to see here, and then the tremendous amount of rain move through. Look how tight this pressure gradient is over here. Definitely, especially along coastal areas, going to see very, very high winds as this pushes through tight pressure gradient, and then it'll finally ease. This is showing wind speeds. Watch how they really come up there along the coast. Biggest concern is going to be Wednesday afternoon and evening, where wind speeds are going to get really high. We're going to see winds easily into the 30s and the 40s miles an hour. We're also going to see it kind of generally throughout the entire area, but along coastal areas is where things are definitely going to be getting exciting. There is a lot happening here and a lot of different variables to worry about. So if you want to know what's happening in your specific location, I want you to go open a web browser and type in weather.gov. Then you're going to enter your zip code right here. That'll take you to this page, and then I want you to scroll down and I want you to click on this weather graph right here. This will show you hour by hour your concerns, temperatures, when your wind speeds are going to be high, when you're going to get rain, snow, and freezing rain. It's a complex weather system out there with a lot of hazards, but you got this.